the results of PSM, what do you think the chances of Malaysian having a stronger third force, or now we are sort of like in a two-party state? Do you think there's a possibility for us to move into like a multiple party system where we have much more parties in our political landscape?
I think it's the system of voting that's important. If you had something like proportionate representation,
yes,
then smaller parties can also get places. Let's say if you say right in Dewan Rakyat, we have an extra 50 seats which are determined by a party list.
Yes.
Then smaller parties have a chance of getting in. But in this kind of thing, when you have the first past the post, then people vote tactically. They may not like party A, they like party C, but party C is small, better get party B, which is not what they like so much, but better than wasting your vote on C, because if you vote C, then A will win. That kind of a...
This is one of the arguments that has been brought up, actually. A lot of people say that voting you is actually wasting a vote.
That's right, that's right. I mean, so that's why in this first past the post system.
Yes.
Whereas, if you have proportionate representation, then that means you have a different list. You vote for your own constituency, you vote for one MP. Then after that, you have a party list of 50. And then that depends on the total proportionate votes in the whole country. So the system of voting determines what kind of participation you get. And I think it's good to have the minority parties also coming in, because we have different views, different perceptions of things, which I think will add to the political debate. And I think it's good for the country to have a diversity of voices in Parliament talking about different things.
But do you think proportionate voting will work in Malaysia?
Why not? Why not? If we can, one very easy way of doing it now is like, if you have Senate, you have 100 seats in Senate, you could open 80 of them up for proportionate voting. That means we have one more vote. When you go, you vote for your MP, you vote for your Adun, and you also vote for a party. So then depending on what percentage, let's say if Pakatan Harapan gets 48% of the votes on this proportional list, then they get 48% of the seats, of those 80 seats, In
the Senate.
In the Senate. So you open the Senate up for elections by a proportionate system. That could be quite easily done. The remaining 20 seats, you want to keep it for maybe, like now they keep some for disabled people, they keep some for Orang Asli. Maybe you can do that. You can still keep a few seats that you want to give to minority groups to make sure they get placed. But open up 80 of them into this kind of a system. That means, let's say a small party like PSM may not have enough votes, supporters in just one constituency. But across the country, we may have about 2% or 3% of the votes be enough to get us 1 or 2 seats in the Senate through this method, isn't it? I mean, because the proportional system actually adds up the votes all over the country for all the parties, and if your threshold should be more than 1%, right? I mean, if you get more than 1%, 1.5% of the seats, you should get one of the votes, you get 1 seat in the Senate. So it can be done, actually.
Then, just what is your take on the current system of appointing senator?
That is very democratic, right? If you see, one thing is when you appoint, then the person you appoint is beholden to you and not to the Rakyat. If he's elected, then he's beholden to the Rakyat and not to the powers that be. So now the states each appoint 2 people, then the federal government appoints the rest. So it tends to be, when you appoint, even your local councils, you appoint the mayor, you appoint all the councillors, it makes them in a way subservient to the person who's appointing them. It'd be much better to have them elected by the people. Then they can also be a form of check and balance to the other authorities in the state.